Could you tell me what powers the local authority's got once you pass this, of keeping the developer on track with his policies of sequencing? We've all discussed tonight, looking at the screen up there, there's 2,110 homes, and the local village has got to be completed to stop people getting in their cars and travelling into Fareham. I moved into Whiteley in the 90s, and a developer there made quite a number of promises which he didn't keep. Shops were the last thing, schools were the last thing that was built, and the local authority, it was Winchester, I believe, didn't seem to have the power or the gumption of getting hold of the developer and bringing him back online. What powers have you gentlemen got to make sure promises are kept?
Very good question. The powers we have through the planning process, and bear in mind this is an outline application apart from the motorway junction, so the detail isn't there yet. But when we get the detailed plans in, if this one is granted, then with them there will be legal agreements, and they're legally binding agreements that are entered into between the planning authority that gives the planning permission and the developer, which see these things provided. And there are trigger points within those agreements. So it will say, you know, not in these sort of vague details of, you know, in the first 10 years there'll be 1,000 houses and something will be put in place at some stage. It will be much more precise in terms of housing numbers that trigger certain pieces of infrastructure, such as schools and the district centre and stuff like that. So they are legally binding agreements that the developer has to enter into to see that those things are delivered. So rather differently from how some of Whiteley got developed. And in terms of control on which phase or sequence comes first, but of course the planning consent, if it's granted for the first phase, well, that is the first phase. Nothing else is granted. They can't sort of move on to the second phase because they haven't got a permission. They can only build what it is they've got permission for. They get very tied up with legal agreements as to what happens, when it happens, and who pays for it.